So we're going to switch gears to geopolitics this week. We saw some massive implications. We will all give reactions, but I got this clip. I'm sure the left is going to love this clip. But pretty much it's Wesley Hunt and his reaction to what he said to Zelensky this week.
President Trump is back, we have a mess that now he has to clean up. And in fact, he was laughed out of the room. The reason why Vladimir Putin is behaving this way is because Europe has funded this operation by using natural gas and using oil from Russia for the past 4 years. That's where it's coming from. And so if you'd have used that natural gas and got that oil from us, who is your ally, you wouldn't have been in this position in the first place. And then I'll end with this. Vladimir Putin has annexed or invaded a country in Europe for the past four presidents, except for one. And that's President Trump for the last 4 years. So if you're going to trust somebody that actually negotiated the Abraham Accords, you're going to trust somebody that moved the embassy in Israel to Jerusalem. You want to trust somebody that had peace in the Middle East and wants people to stop dying. This is the new leadership that we're going to see for the next 4 years. A new sheriff is in town, and 77 million people voted for this.
Mermaid, clearly you did not vote for this. So what do you think about what Wesley said, and what's your thoughts on what happened last week with Zelensky?
I think it was disgusting, to say the least. It was an embarrassment to our country to see our president and our vice president act like that. To call out Zelensky's democracy was insane. And then also to even stop the aid today is going against the Budapest Memorandum. And I don't know why MAGA thinks that Zelensky's looking for handouts. We have treaties that are in place that implement these things, and now they are just trying to change it. And I think that they bombarded that man. I think it was ridiculous. It was hard to watch, honestly and truly, just to see them act like that inside of the Oval Office. That's all I really had to say about it. I just couldn't deal with something like that. It just makes us look crazy on the world stage, and now we're not the leaders of the free world anymore.
Mm-hmm. 85. Is that what you voted for? Did you get what you wanted?
I got everything I want. I got a gangster president. I got a dude that ain't gonna take no holds bar. He ready for the drama. That meeting was amazing. It's 2 years too late, if you ask me. The war started on the other guy's clock. He just here to clean it up. So don't be mad how he cleaned it up. Basically, he telling the brother he needs you to stop the war. If you don't stop the war, this is gonna happen. That's gonna happen. So at the end of the day, I love to see it. I love the transparency. And I don't think we would have ever seen that type of aggression with those other people in office. It would have been some beta, I don't know, some soft stuff. I'm tired of being soft. I like to be hard. This the country. This America.
Ooh. All right, K-Dot. Tell MAGA how terrible we are. We voted for Trump and how it's an embarrassment. No, in all seriousness, what do you think the future is for Ukraine at this point with the Trump administration?
Trump needs to keep backing Ukraine. The American people need to keep, the American government needs to keep sending aid. Allowing our enemies to gain power is not an American first policy. I don't know why we want to negotiate a deal with a man who has broken 25 ceasefire agreements and allow him to gain, it was put this way: say he does negotiate a deal with Trump and says, okay, I'll stop here. This is what I would, and then give me this land. Okay, we gave him the land. He's got the resources. Trump leaves office in 3 years after in the next 3.5 years. He starts right back up because we didn't defeat him. And now we've got to go right back into war with him because now he's invading Ukraine again, or maybe he makes an advance towards Poland, which I don't think he'll go for Poland first because they're a NATO country, and that attacking them would mean an actual war for him. But I can't think of anything much more beta than being like, oh no, this is costing us pennies on a dollar to send them ammunition and weapons we're not using, and we should keep it and just let Putin take over because America doesn't do this. America has always done this. American people signed up to do this. My grandfather signed up to do it. My great grandfather signed up to do it. Some of them were forced to do it, and now all of a sudden, Putin is somebody not to be messed with. All right. I mean, if that's what the Trump administration wants to be known for, in the annals of history, is they back down from Putin, go right ahead. We'll
Hey,
see
I
who the bid
noticed. I
is.
noticed you had a theory on the negative side. You ain't got no theory on the positive side. Like if it
Positive
wouldn't,
what?
like if
What do you
Trump
want to
do
hear
something
positive?
positive,
There's nothing positive about
nothing at
nothing.
all.
No, there's nothing positive about letting Putin
He won the
take
election.
people's
Let's
land.
start there.
There's nothing positive about letting Putin take back parts of
He
Ukraine.
won the election. Let's start there. That's positive.
Oh, well, now he won the election, but it matters that he won now. But when he lost the election,
Oh,
it
it
was stolen,
matters.
right?
It
But
matters.
now it's a fair election. It
No,
was a
it
fair
matters.
election this
When they
time.
stole the
Okay.
election, they messed
They
up the
stole the
country
election.
the last 4
Enzo,
years.
Okay,
what do
let's
you
not
think?
talk about no election being stolen. And you two don't like that, please. Like we're not on Rumble. So, Enzo, what is your prediction if the war is not ended? What do you think is going to happen next?
What's going to happen next? If the war didn't end, I can see that just being another forever war, just like the Middle East. Because if you look at history with Russia, they don't put their best on the front line at first. They'll just throw people at the front line just to wear down the enemy. And that's how they would eventually take Ukraine at that point. If that's what they really wanted to do, they're just going to keep throwing people and then take it. And then who knows after that? I realistically don't think that they're going to rebuild the old Soviet Union and take back all the Baltic states and create the Warsaw Pact again. That's not reality. That would never happen. That's a democratic talking point that I've heard for the last 3-4 years since this war has started. That Russia's going to take over to create the old Soviet Union. Nobody wants that, because once that happens, World War III is going to start, and then we're all annihilated after that point.
Mia, you had a very interesting theory. Where do you see this going at this point?
I mean, I personally am anti-war. It serves no purpose for anybody. We've learned from Vietnam. We have learned from Afghanistan, Iraq, that forever wars, 20 or 30-year wars that involve drafting is just, it's pointless. It's endless. Nobody wins. Nobody ever wins in this. I mean, honestly, I think one of the things that one of the announcements is going to be is that we're pulling back from NATO. I think that will be one of the surprise announcements. I have it feeling, and you guys heard it here first. If that's what happens, boo. I said that to you a few days ago, that I think that's legitimately what's going to happen. But honestly, the Budapest memorandum states that we have to provide non-military aid. So, I mean, Mermaid is right. We do technically have to keep that non-military aid going through the Budapest. But other than that, that's it. We only locked ourselves into non-military aid. We didn't lock ourselves in for boots on the ground or planes in the air. So, I mean, anything, it's like a really tricky line, because we need to back up our word, but we can't get aggressive enough to where Putin thinks that we're actually interested in World War III. We literally just had children unalive in Detroit from freezing to death. We are not in any position to be in World War III. Our birth rates are the lowest they've ever been. We don't even have, we're not even at replacement at our own workforce. The last thing we need is World War III, and 15% of the working men and women are eliminated in a world war, which is historically how it happened. So we're in a weird situation where I would rather us be neutral, send them the money at this point in time, and just be neutral, because we can't appear as the aggressor. Allow Europe to take center stage. You know, you want to be the big dog? There you go. Be the big dog, bro. We'll sit back here and we're just going to chill, because at the end of the day, Russia has nuclear weapons and we have nuclear weapons, and we really need to avoid using them. We've already shown the world through Nagasaki and Hiroshima, that we will use them. So, I mean, it's a really precarious situation, and I'm kind of with Trump. I mean, we can't be in World 3 because we wouldn't survive it. The amount of money we're spending in versus our GDP, the amount of debt we're in is so high. We're literally on the cusp of an all-out collapse of the American dollar. The last thing we need is to get into World War III defending Ukraine. Not our monkeys, not our problem. We're literally freezing to death and our children are starving here.
Well, I'm going to go into the next topic because KDOT brings up a good point. I don't know if everyone's aware, but we've sent more money to Israel this month under President Trump than we've sent to Ukraine. So, Gray, do you think we should continue funding both wars at this point? What's your position?
As a veteran, and what I hear a lot of people say, where it's like really expensive. A lot of people actually profit off of war. Me, myself, people close to me, we profited. The U.S. profited off of World War II when they were building the equipment and sending it to Europe then. But I know we kind of beat this to death, so I just wanted to plug real quick. We talked about this on the Man Cave. We do this every Monday and Wednesday. And please like, share, subscribe, and hit that bell to get notifications. Go ahead.
Okay, K Dot. So, do you think we should continue funding Israel since you're bringing them up into this conversation?
No. What are we funding them for? They're just
Oh, but you're okay with us cutting money for them, but not Ukraine.
because that's an actual war. People are actually
They're
so. If I'm
they
cutting
think
money,
they're at a
hold
war
on.
too over there.
No. Israel is dropping bombs on innocent women and children and men that have nothing to do with a terrorist organization. I understand going after a terrorist organization that is attacking innocent people who just happen to live within the confines of Israel and underneath Israel rule. That those people you can go after, but you're murdering thousands of innocents. Making sure we're sending money to Ukraine so Russia doesn't do to Ukraine what Israel does to the Palestinians is justifiable. So why am I sending that's you're literally funding you're funding a genocide and trying to defund one so a genocide can happen. It makes no sense to me. This is not
Well,
the
I want to
American
cut off
way.
funding for both, to be clear. But yes, I mean, 85, where are you at with that? You are the most MAGA, like I said. Well, how can you justify cutting off for Ukraine, but continue for Israel at this point? Or where's your position
Um,
on it?
Number one, no war should be funded by us. My president is a peaceful president. The war in Ukraine, that basically started on another watch. Like I said, we're gonna put the blame on him because he's in the seat, so it's gonna look that way. But at the end of the day, I know what President Trump said. Now, if he's a president that elects to go to war, that would be one of the situations I would definitely turn my hat away from him on because, you know, I voted for him because he's not about war. He will do anything he has to do not to go to war. And he said that so many times during the rally. So if it turns out to be that way, I won't be afraid of, to fight or whatever. But at the same time, I'll be pissed off. But
Well, he
I
just
don't think
approved
we're going
a
to war.
$4 billion. They just bypassed Congress to send Israel $4 billion as it blocks aid into Gaza. So, I mean, for somebody not for, I mean, there's a lot of contradictories with that, though. Enzo, what's your thoughts?
I mean, I'm completely against war altogether. I don't think we should be funding Israel. I don't think we should be funding Ukraine. I just want people to stop dying, just like how Trump said it himself. I think it's disgusting what's going on in both conflicts.
Facts.
I mean, that's
Mermaid.
true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry, honey.
Mermaid, what's your thoughts? What's I want to know. I'm going to ask you this same question I'm asking you. Where are you at? Should we continue sending to Israel? Should we cut it off? Or like, what's your thoughts? Like, what's your justification? Like, same I asked K Dot.
Um, no, if you're gonna cut it off on one end, cut it off across the board. If you don't want to be a part of it with allies or enemies, then do not be a part of it with allies or enemies. But just like K Dot said, I agree wholeheartedly. You are funding a genocide and then stopping aid, which is going to inevitably start another genocide. And I don't, in all my life, I do not remember any time where Russia was our friend. So I don't even know why we're in this predicament now. Absolutely insane. But if you're going to stop aid from one where we have a whole treaty for it, a whole memorandum for it, then stop it across the board.
Mia?
I mean, I gotta move from MAGA light a little bit to more to the left because I mean, at the end of the day, we did sign the Budapest memorandum, so we technically are. I don't want to say we owe Ukraine, but I'm saying at the end of the day, we do have to back up our word and what we say because our word we should be living by that, and we signed that. Even though it was a different administration, it doesn't matter. We still have to go with our word, and we signed that. So I don't like the idea of sending any American taxpayer money to anything at all outside of America. But it is worth noting that what's happening between Israel and Gaza, or Israel and the Palestinians, is an ethnic cleansing. This is not like some like random conflict where they're like, I mean, that's an absolute ethnic cleansing. We have two opposite religions battling each other out and one is trying to eliminate the other. So, I mean, it's a little bit different than what's going on with Ukraine. I don't think we should be supporting Israel. I mean, if we're going to be completely honest, Hebrews are some of the richest families on the planet, and they can take care of themselves, and they can start a GoFundMe to take care of Israel if they really care.
To answer
They
your
got the
question,
America
Laura,
GoFundMe, $12 billion given under Trump so far.
to answer your question, I'm against war, and I'm glad that everybody's Americans on here said that they were all against it.
Yeah, and shout out to Gray. Thank you for your service. I don't know if you guys all know this, but Gray served in Iraqi freedom. He actually saw combat, is that fair to
Yeah.
say? And served in Iraq for over a year.